Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin did drop further out of the yellow support box. Yeah, as already said in the last video, I didn't have too much confidence that it would hold this one because we came down and retested several times the low here and there were no attempts of anything bullish coming out of it. We didn't even make a strong B wave. Yeah, so I mean, the B wave could have been something like triangle here. I'm going to take the yellow box out because this was a support box for a wave that was now invalidated. So we're looking at something like this probably. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. First of all, let me take out those boxes here. We don't need them anymore. They were relevant. I always try to keep the chart tidy, you know that. Otherwise it gets even more confusing because it's a confusing pattern, right? But the good thing is that the sharper drop from today at least clarifies the count a little bit. We've got a few key support areas I want to talk about, and we've got a few options here. And I know a couple of people get confused with accounts because I always try to show you more than one, because if I only showed you one possibility, one scenario, it would set a lot of people up for failure because there are clearly more than just one possible outcome for price developments, right? I know some people always look for certainty, but if you're looking for certainty, you're certainly in the wrong space because nobody knows what's going to happen. What we can do as traders or technical analysts is we can identify trade setups, we can identify trends, we can identify direction and possible trend reversal points. I use the Elliott Wave method for that. But it's certainly not guaranteed it doesn't guarantee any certain outcome. That's why you need to have out of the theoretical infinity of different possibilities, because in theory you could have infinite developments here. Yeah? So my job is to identify 2 or 3 likely patterns, how it could work out, and in an ideal case we have strong support levels and we know if certain levels get broken, then we are morphing into another scenario that allows us to identify trade setups, set stop losses, take profits, and so on. Okay, so let's take a look here. We are still in this channel. Yeah, we are still in the channel. As always, I took some of the subwaves out when they're not too relevant anymore, just to keep it tidy. But we are still in the channel, so that still shows us we are generally moderately in an uptrend. I'm still looking at higher or short-term upside potential. Yeah, some people ask me, am I bullish on the market? I'm not bullish on the market. Short-term, there is bullish upside potential, and I would say we have a chance to get into the 19, maybe 20k region. But this is, as you know, if you've watched my previous video, in my opinion, only a wave 4. So we've got an A wave up, a B wave down, and a C wave to the upside in a wave 4. That would peak up here, and my primary expectation is to see one more low for Bitcoin. So I'm not generally bullish on the market. I am long-term bullish on Bitcoin, of course, but I think we're going to see one more low before we can get back into a bull run. Now that can take weeks or months to play out. Historically, around 530 days before the new halving, markets started to recover. That time is now. That is what makes this current time so interesting. A lot of people are actually exiting, leaving the market, which is in my opinion exactly the wrong thing to do in an environment where historically around 1.5 years before the halving, market started to recover, and the next halving is sort of early 2024. So, you know, we've got 1.5 years, and that doesn't mean the market needs to recover now. You know, we could have a couple of months or so more downturn, you know, one more low or whatever, but we are generally in a time where a lot of indicators are flashing by long-term, and I'm not buying yet too much. I still hold most in cash, and I'm waiting for either a lower low in Bitcoin or I'm waiting for a confirmed bottom. I don't think we've seen any of that yet. So still looking currently, due to the pattern, the structure, at more short-term upside potential. So I'm going to show you 2 or 3 counts that are very likely in my opinion. So the first count is the one that you actually see on the chart. That is therefore also my primary expectation. We had a wave 1 up, we had a wave 2 down, another 1-2 setup, another 1-2 setup, and this would become, let me think, yeah, it would have to become now also another 1-2 setup like Ethereum. So that already makes this count less likely. I might change it for the next video. We've got 4 1-2 setups here in a row. Anybody who's familiar with Elliott Waves knows that is utterly ridiculous it is super bullish, yeah, which is only bullish if it works out, because it means that all of these 1-2s need their 3, 4, and 5, which means you would get a cascade higher, maybe even in the 25k region if that really worked out, or 22, 23k region. I don't think we're going to see that. So 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, getting super unrealistic. But if it was working out, what is the support level we would need to hold? So obviously it would mean this wave 3 would go higher. Yeah, this wave 4 was never finished, but we have actually here 5 waves complete. It would be another wave 1. I would have to add another 1 here. And we're currently moving down in 2, possibly find support eventually here at the channel support, and would then rally. Important is, if this really is another 1-2 setup, very important that we would need to hold the $17,200 level. Very important, yeah? But below that, I can't go with the 1-2 setup anymore. I already might change it for the next video. So to be honest, the count that I start to find very likely now, I won't remove this count yet from the chart, but the count I'm starting to find quite likely these days is, since the movement yesterday, is a diagonal count. Already talked about that on the Ethereum chart, and I might make these diagonals my primary expectation. Diagonal would mean we peaked actually here in a wave 1 that was on the 30th of November. That is still a bullish count. It's just getting a little bit less reliable as a diagonal. Wave 1 to the upside. We moved down in a wave 2 that was here the low on the 7th of December at 16,750 pretty much. We moved up. Well, we are now basically based on that in a wave 3. Yeah, so we've done, as you can see here on the chart, a 1 and a 2. We are now in a wave 3. The wave 3 hasn't peaked yet. What has peaked yesterday was the wave A of wave 3. We're now coming down in wave B of wave 3. And we are now going to move up shortly, ideally. And ideally, we're finding support at the channel. We would move up in a wave C of 3. And then we would finish off a wave 3. And there would be only one more wave 4 and a wave 5 up. That is what I find, from a bullish point of view, fairly realistic. And I think I might make that my primary expectation. Important in this scenario would be to hold the following support level. I'm looking at the $17,088 level, the 78.6% fib level. Yeah, that is then a retracement for the current wave down, a B wave, which would move up in a wave C. $17,090. These are sort of the two counts I'm going with. There's one more. I don't really want to confuse you too much. That is just a count here where we're assuming we are still in the wave 4, but would move down. It would also be a bullish count where at some point here we should find support and move up. So I just want to wait for the moment when we find support, and then I can change the wave count accordingly. Again, we are now heading back into a key support area, so don't get too confused with the different counts. What does count, what does certainly count, is that we find support above 16,737. That is this swing low, all the way up to, I would say here channel support. This yellow box is now a relevant support area. Doesn't matter which scenario we're in. If we want to be in a bullish scenario still, and there are still various, the structure leaves room for interpretation what kind of bullish scenario we're in and what kind of diagonal structure, because there's different ways of counting a diagonal as well. But it doesn't really so much matter. I wouldn't get too confused and hung up on the different counts. What is important is that we're holding this support area. If we do not hold this support area, then I think we have a really good chance again, and it's currently not primary expectation, but that's the only outcome I have to expect. Then if we break below that wave 2 low here from the 7th of December, if we break below this support area, I have to assume we have already peaked here in some kind of a corrective pattern, and we're already coming down into the region between 14 and 14.5K. So the upside potential was then in that case not realized by the bulls and we are already seeing the wave 5 down. Bear in mind, this is still the higher level assumption of seeing one more low. So we are in a bear market, so the selling is naturally stronger, still too strong, to get a sustainable breakout to the upside. The short-term upside potential is still there at the moment, but it will massively reduce in likelihood below 16,750. Yeah, okay, and that's my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also make sure that you check out our Instagram and Twitter accounts. Please make sure you only follow the official ones, because there are scammers coming up every day. So make sure that you follow the official ones. You can find them on our website or in the video description or even in the beginning of the video. And if you're interested, maybe also check out our trading course we are offering on morecryptoonline.com. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.